And it's a fabulous end to our Super Saturday as we have released the 180 horsepower 4-cylinder Mazda MX-5 for the Whelen Mazda MX-5 Cup. They are rolling on their formation laps for the first of 2 races this weekend. Hello everybody, I'm John Hindhoff in the IMSA Global Broadcast Centre. SKYACTIV is alongside me as we get ready for 45 minutes of appointment to view racing. This is the time everyone else has done today. I will guarantee you that the majority of people up and down the paddock and the pit lane are still here this evening because they will want to be watching. If they're not on the pit wall, they will be in their hospitality and watching on the screens, because this is some of the best racing you'll see anywhere in the world. And we are at a fabulous location here in Virginia, just outside of the city of Danville, at a circuit that is extraordinary in so many different ways. I could wax lyrical about this place for the whole 45 minutes. What you need to know is it's 3.5 miles around, give or take. It's got 17 corners, and the speeds at which you go through the corners are incredible here. Lots of complex corners that lead one into another, into the next, into a third, into a fourth, where if you get out a sequence and rhythm with the corners, it's a bit like getting it wrong on a downhill slalom on skis. The mistakes get magnified and eventually you're going to miss a gate. That's exactly how it works here. The other benefit that we have here is that these Mazdas will go side by side pretty much everywhere, even in places around this circuit that other championships won't. Let's quickly take a look at the Mazda starting grid. We have 32 cars starting. So on the back row, Gresham Wagner and Alejandro Gutierrez. Then it's 2 Parker DeLong racing cars, Parker DeLong himself and Charlotte Trainer. Peter Atwater and Skylar Cotterill are next up on positions 28 and 27. Ashton Speed and Farnham Siddiqui on the 13th row. Damon Ockey and Alex Bashura rather further down than he'd like to be for Spark Performance. Then Rocco Pasquarella in the number 58 car for AAG has Sally Mott for company on the 11th row. On the 10th row, Maite Caceres for Rafa Racing Team and Marcello Panettia for Saito Motorsport Group. Bryce Cornet, Grant West, Zach Hollingshead, Ethan Tyler, Christian Hodenland and Jared Thomas, Cody Powell and Noah Harmon. And in the top 10, Nathan Nicholson and Ethan Jacobs are on row 5, both advanced Autosports drivers. Macumbi Makalia Racing, Jeremy Fletcher in 8th with Ethan Goulart for Saito Motorsport Group in 7th. Bobby Gossett for Macumbi Makalia Racing in 6th position, 1 row ahead, or 1 place ahead of him on the grid. Alongside him effectively will be Elio Mesa, who is the best of the rookies. He starts for BSI Racing in 5th position. Top 4 then, Tyler Gonzalez, another BSI Racing driver, and Weston Workman. Do you think they got their setup right? I think they did. And on the front row, another team who work well together as a group. Nate Cicero and Justin Adeconis. Actually, Justin Adeconis is our best rookie, isn't he? He just happens to be on pole position overall as well. That's your 32 cars. There's a story about why there's only 32. We'll get into that in a moment. Gresham Wagner at the back of the grid, SKYACTIV, in a position that we are unfamiliar in seeing him, but that gives us the excitement of seeing him fight the way through the field.
It does. Keep an eye on that number 81 machine, because the Rafa Racing with MMR will not be at the back of the pack for very long. I talked with Gresham earlier about how he plans to move forward through the field. He said being smart and being fast. He was involved in a red flag during qualifying, which ultimately resulted in damage to his car. But more importantly, the loss of qualifying times. That's why Gresham is at the back.
It's the Michelin Racing front row that brings us to the green flag as we start the 45 minutes of the Whelen Mazda MX-5 Cup presented by Michelin here at VIR. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There were 6 wide going into the horseshoe for the first time of asking, but not at the front of the field, where the front row have worked well together. And Justin Adaconis, the rookie, has done an absolutely stellar job to hold on to the lead. Nate Cicero playing tail gunner at the moment, with Weston Workman right in there trying to go around the outside of Tyler Gonzalez. Gonzalez, though, slots into third place in the red and white car as they come through the left hook through turn 4, now heading up the hill, and already some positions made up from the back of the grid by Gresham Wagner in that Rafa Racing car. Job 1 done for the front row. Michelin Racing still first and second, just an Adaconis lead. Adam.
So it's not only Gresham Wagner who was slightly out of place after qualifying, but also Jared Thomas. You'll notice the front of his normally pristine white and orange machine with a brand new black bumper. He too was involved in a kerfuffle. It resulted in Celine Roland having to withdraw from the weekend's activities as Nate Cicero going side by side with Gresham Wagner into Oak Tree resulted in him shifting a little bit out wide, and Cicero dropped back into the 4th position. He's now behind Gonzalez and Workman, being hounded by Bobby Gossett, who did a fantastic job through that very tense qualifying session to put himself best position of P6. It was a very dirty run into the race this weekend, John. All of our practice sessions littered with red flags. It actually took about 20 minutes into the first practice before we had fast laps set. We had a chat with the race director in the drivers' meeting, and it was laid out. Guys, we need to do better. That's the principle for today's race. Race well, but race clean.
There's something about this part of the season. Last time out, Mazdas weren't with us. Oh, and off has gone Parker DeLong for Parker DeLong Racing. That's at the top of the hill at the driver's left-hand side of the roller coaster. He's staying in the car, but that's been a significant impact that has dislodged the windscreen wipers. I'm fairly certain this will bring out the Mazda safety car. We're still under green at the moment. They're about 3 miles away from this, as the lead, by the way, was taken by Tyler Gonzalez down the back straight last time around, and Weston Workman is up into second, just another Adaconis down to 3rd position. As Shay was telling us about Celine Roland, there was a mistake by Nate Cicero as he came too quickly into the first part of the Oak Tree, and he dropped down to the 4th and a half. He was nearly 5th, but he's held on to that 4th position. We're still green at the moment, waiting to see. I don't think that car's going to move. Coming up to the top of the hill now, there is the full course yellow as the cars head through the chicanes on the far side of the circuit, just coming up to the southern end. And of course, the moment the yellows come out, Parker DeLong gets the car fired up and uses the downhill gradient. So he's going to be able to stay on the lead lap. I'm not sure what the damage is on the suspension on the left front. He's lost his left-hand side door mirror. And we have got some debris on the circuit as well, which the AMR safety crew have picked up very quickly in their rapid response vehicle. So I reckon, he's got it. I was just about to say, I reckon Parker DeLong could nip back around onto the back of the train of cars, but he's come into the pits. I suspect, Shea, that is for the damage on the left front of that car. He's going to drop a lap here. I think if it was drivable, I might have gone round to the back of the field and then come in and give myself another lap to get that assessed.
Yeah, and Parker's a very smart young man, very impressive, only 16 years old, still in high school. And the team, Parker DeLong Racing, is very much a family effort. His mom and his dad making sure that Parker is deeply and intrinsically involved in everything to do with the team. They brought in a second car this weekend again for the 2nd time this year, running Charlotte Trainer, a young woman looking to try and win the Women's Initiative Scholarship for the next season. It comes with a nice big check, which helps you run a full season. But Parker Parker's role now is not only driver, mechanic, engineer, tent setter, upper, but he's also got to be a coach to Charlotte too. So it has been a busy weekend for him, and he's been running very well. So this is a disappointing end to race number 1 if indeed Parker can't get back out on the circuit.
The pry bar is out to try and clear the front guard from around the left-hand front wheel and Michelin tyre. Not sure that would have lasted 3.5 miles, to be honest, so I withdraw my previous comment about driving around. Also had the wrecker truck out there. It was dispatched as soon as the yellows came out, as the cars were going through turn 10, to get that car pulled out of the way. And then of course it wasn't needed, so that will have to go back to its station on the circuit. So just to underline then, before the yellows came out, Tyler Gonzalez got to the lead, and following him through into second, Weston Workman, his BSI Racing colleague. Then it's the two McCumbee-McAleer Racing cars with Paul Sitter, Justin Adeconis ahead of his teammate Nate Cicero. They started 1 and 2, now sit 3 and 4. Bobby Gossett avoided all of the RG and Bargy. He's into 5th. Jared Thomas into 6th, making progress as ever. Ethan Goulart is the 3rd of the rookies in 7th position. The top 10 made up by Jeremy Fletcher, Elio Meza and Ethan Jacobs, the 4th best of the rookies at the moment. If I look down through the field, Sally Mott, I believe, is the best of the female drivers in 17th position. Now, Bryce Cornier was the other car involved at the top of the hill, and that is being investigated at the moment. We'll give you news on that. That was with Noah Harmon, actually. I've just realised the 7 and the 65 car were running down in 7th position. And it's number 7 rather, 26th position, with sill damage or sill cover damage. It's not a structural part of the car, but I think they'll probably want him to shake that off, which he's trying to do, giving it his best. Who's behind him? That's Damon Oki, isn't it? Yeah, he just needs Damon to run up alongside him and put his left front tyre on it. That'll pull it off. I'm sure that's not really allowed. He's trying hard to shake that off, Shea, in fairness.
He really is. And, you know, Damon Oki is a teammate to Noah Harmon. Noah is a partial Canadian. Damon lives in Alberta. So if anyone's going to help each other out, it's going to be the Canadians. But I believe we have, there's a view of what happened. I'm not entirely sure we're going to be able to, fully tell. But it was a bit of off-track excursioning. Bryce Cornier, well, on the inside of Noah Harmon, pretty hard to say that that's anything but helping a driver off the track. And now into the pit lane does come Noah Harmon in that number 7 machine for BSI. So I would imagine that the BSI crew is going to do whatever it takes with brute force to rip that side sill off the car as quickly as they can and send Noah back out onto the racetrack. Because, John, championship implications. We are at that stage of the season where this race included, we have 4 races to go. Noah is 5th in points overall and leads the Rookie of the Year standings ahead of his other teammate, Elio Meza. So this is very important for Noah to try and get this part rectified as quickly as possible and get back out. Now he's going to have to charge back up through the field. And speaking of charging up through the field, for fans of Gresham Wagner and the Gresham Wagner fan club all around the world, he's up to P19 after starting P31. So not bad so far, Gresham, but we'd like to see a little bit more, please.
Yeah, that was an impressive start from Gresham Wagner. Exactly what he needs now, just to cool his Michelin tyres a little bit and then go again. Hello to Brian Merriman, who is tuned in trackside. Thank you for supporting IMSA and for the Whelen Mazda MX-5 Cup presented by Michelin. You mentioned Elio Meza. He's in 9th position at the moment, Shea. I reckon that makes him, let me see, 1, 2, 3. I reckon that's 4th in rookie points in this race. So at the moment, he is taking a pretty big chunk of points out of Noah Harmon's lead in the rookie side of things. Noah out of the pit lane has dropped a lap. So he... Actually,
No.
I've just said that, and my timing doesn't show that he's dropped a lap.
No, he's on the lead lap.
Yeah. Still on the lead lap, correct. He managed to get in and out before they came back around again. Okay. Nice and slow safety car lap has helped him out here. Alejandro Gutierrez in the yellow, in the orange and black car towards the back of the field. For AAG Racing, Bryce Cornet, the Spark, is at the moment the last of the line, but Noah Harmon will be hustling around to get onto the back as we go back to green with still 34 minutes of racing to go. Anything could happen in the next half hour is what they used to say at the beginning of Stingray, and it is entirely appropriate for Whelen Mazda MX-5 Cup racing. Straight down the inside by Western Workman and Justin Adeconis side by side. Adeconis, I think, is just nipped back into second place as they go side by side behind the red and white car with the yellow on the FI8 roll cage. That's Jared Thomas. He's making up positions as well. Do you know what? I don't dislike that black front end on that car. It kind of tones in a little bit. Looks like it's almost meant to be. Tyler Gonzalez in the Soul Red Crystal car at the front of the race. From in second place, the number 23, Justin Adeconis, the best of the rookies. Then it's Western Workman in another car with purple on it. Behind that, the more white car is Nate Cicero. And these are some of the best exponents of this type of driving. Then it is Jared Thomas, yeah, in the 96 car. Behind Jared in the all black car is Bobby Gossett. Then Ethan Goulart, Jeremy Fletcher, Elio Meza and Ethan Jacobs for the top 10. But really, Shea, anybody in the top 16 to 18 at the moment could still be there at the end because we've got so much racing to go, still over half an hour.
Well, and one of the biggest things is that you did not just mention our championship leader in that top 10, and that's because Nathan Nicholson is currently running around in P11. He comes into today's race with a 170-point advantage over the driver of the number 22 machine. That would be Mr. Jeremy Fletcher. Jeremy is currently P8, so the difference between Nathan and Jeremy is not great, but Tyler Gonzalez, race winner of half the races this year, third in championship points, sitting at the front of the field. That will change things as Damon Oakey has gone for a bit of an adventure, but he's kept the car in gear and looks like he will be able to rejoin the racetrack with no harm, no foul. The field crosses the start-finish line now. To give you an idea of where Noah Harmon is, he has not yet even finished Sector 2, so he desperately needs another yellow to try and catch up to the pack.
Yeah, just coming out of Oak Tree, Damien Oakey going off, looked like on his own there. We also had Ashton Speed off at turn 1 last time around, and a huge off for the 96 of Jared Thomas at turn 3, NASCAR bend. He was helped into that. That's his second crash of this Super Saturday. Full course yellow with 31 minutes and 10 seconds to go, and that is a significant impact that is going to take some time to fix the barriers as well as the car. Now, Jared will be assessing what's going on here. He's a very experienced competitor. Let's see if he starts driving away. We've got track services there and the AMR safety crew. Full course yellow has been called for. Jared's fine. Talking to the safety crew. And the shrug of the shoulders and the hands up in what in the name of everything that is good happened to me there. Now let's see if we can unpick this one. Shea Adamy side by side with Jeremy Fletcher. But I
Elio
think
Mazda.
it's from behind that it comes. It's Elio Mazda, the rookie, who gets into the left rear of the red and white car. The blue and white machine of Elio Mazda and BSI Racing. Now, a couple of incidents earlier on, and by the way, we've had another incident as well further back in the field.
Zach Hollingshead.
He was in a scrap down in the late teens of the racing, and I think that was Sally Mott there in the 15 car of JTR Motorsports that was involved as well. Ethan Tyler on the scene there in another one of the BSI cars. I should mention Sally had an off on the previous lap at turn 1, but I think got away with that. And also some incidents that we mentioned earlier on that are not going to be reviewed until post-race. So any results we talk about in about half an hour's time are very much provisional, and we will have to remind ourselves of that, Shea, when we get round to the checkered flag. So
Very
two
much so.
incidents. Yeah. Two incidents to be looked at. Ashton Speed, I'm sorry it was, that went off, not Sally Mott, at turn 1, and she has subsequently come into the pits for the Hendricks Motorsports team. So two incidents, one involving the number 42 car on its own, and secondly, the incident that we were talking about. So that was Parker DeLong, who we know went off. That's going to be reviewed post-session. And the other one was the Noah Harmon and Bryce Cornet. That will also, Bryce Cornet will be reviewed post-session, post-race as well. So if you're just joining us, where were you for the last 15 minutes of action? Celine Roland did not start the race for BSI Racing. So 32 cars started. We have 2 in the pits and 1 in the wall, which is Jared Thomas. Ashton Speed, by the way, out of the pits for Hendricks Motorsport. It's a short tow back into the paddock there. So Jared Thomas's afternoon stroke evening has not ended well. There is a little bit of barrier work to do there. Diminoki recovered and running again. And right at the front of the field, Justin Adeconis, who started on pole position, back in front now, clicking off the lap, Shea, Adam. And let's remind ourselves, pole position, fastest lap and most laps led all take points for the championship.
That they do. Justin Adeconis has already secured the pole position 10 points from today's race. Currently, the fastest lap of the race is going to Gresham Wagner, so he is stealing those 10 bonus points away. Gresham, not doing a full season, will not be defending his championship title, and with that crash for Jared Thomas, I'm sorry to say we are not going to have a 3-time champion emerge this year. We're not even going to have a repeat champion. Our champion for 2025 will be a newbie because Jared Thomas won't be able to overcome that deficit, I'm sorry to say, unless something truly horrible happens to the top 3 cars ahead of him. But Jared was very disappointed after the crash in qualifying, in thinking that his chance at the championship was out of the window already. The most bonus points, the other bonus points, by the way, go to the fast lap of the race, as I mentioned, for Gresham as of now for the fast lap, but leading the most laps. Right now, Tyler Gonzalez has led 5 of the 7 laps that have elapsed. Adeconis has 2 to his name. And if you think that bonus points don't really make that big of a difference, well, if we eliminate all the bonus points from last year's championship, of which the most bonus points went to Gresham Wagner, 110, we would have a 3-way tie for the championship lead at the end of the season between Gresham Wagner, Jared Thomas, and Nate Cicero. They all would have scored the exact same number of points from the races. The championship still would have gone to Gresham Wagner because he won more races than anyone else. The most bonus points that have ever been accrued in a season, 120. Would you like to take a guess at how many Mr. Nate Cicero has coming into today's race? That would be 110. Nate is going to blow that tally out of the water if he continues on the rate at which he's been going this season. But Nate either needs to set fast lap at this race or lead a couple more laps to try and earn that title for himself.
Shay, we have been at Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta at Motul Petit Le Mans talking about a 10-point swing, one position swing, and therefore a 10-point swing in the final race of the year that has decided the championship. So most laps led, or a fastest lap, is the same as one position on the track. And as we come down to the last 4 races of the season, 3 after this one, that's when it begins to count. And come that last race on Friday at Motul Petit Le Mans, somebody getting the fastest lap may well be the difference between a significant amount of money in the top 10, because let's not forget, the top 10 are all getting the comedy big checks to take away on that Friday evening banquet that you'll be hosting.
It's so true, John, and it has happened in the past. The reason Connor Zilic is not a champion of this series, which he was almost going to get in his rookie year, is because he missed out on it by 10 points. That would have been one more pole, one more leading the most laps, one more fastest lap, as the lights are out on the safety car. Safety car has well departed the scene, and we are ready for this restart. As Justin Adiconis is thinking to himself, all right, I led the race to the green flag with someone beside me. Surely it should be easy to lead to a green flag with someone behind me. Yeah, but the someone behind you, young man, is Tyler Gonzalez, who has won 5 out of 10 races this year, and he's got his teammate right behind him. This is going to be elbows out from Adiconis to try and keep the lead.
The whole field streams down through the hog pen, and with 23 minutes on the nose remaining in the first of 2 events for Whelen Mazda MX-5 Cup, they go up the line, and even before they cross the line, Tyler Gonzalez was being pushed into the lead by Western Workman, and the red and white MX-5 leads it then for BSI Racing, with Western Workman in the purple fronted car with the white hood. Slots into second. Adiconis could not hold on to the lead because he didn't get any drafting help on this long front stretch. I won't call it a front straight because it curves significantly to the right just before the start and finish line. It's a long run out of the hog pen at turn 17. We have seen positions change in the run to the line, twice or 3 times in the run to the line. So there is plenty of action to come, even on the last lap. Now, let's just see what happened on that restart, as Gresham Wagner has just set a new fastest lap of the race. Adiconis on his own, and as soon as Tyler Gonzalez gets the hookup from behind with Western Workman, he's through, and he was ahead at the restart line. 21 3/4 minutes to go out of the Oak Tree corner for the 9th time of asking. Everyone back together again. Top 2 using that draft to pull away. The draft is strong with these cars because of the open top nature and the fact that the FIA roll cage is sitting out in the air. It's not aerodynamically efficient, but we don't care about that because all the cars are the same, and it disrupts the air behind each of those roll cages and leaves a nice big vacuum spot to draft into, and that's why the draft is so strong. As Nate Cicero is dropping into 3rd position there and pulling up to the 2 leaders. What's happened to Western Workman? No, he's still there in 2nd. Adiconis in there. Cross the line again, these 2 still working together. Nate Cicero in 3rd, Adiconis in 4th. Cicero's in the white car with the blue and red stripe just to off-centre on the left-hand side of the bonnet, the hood of that car. This is classic Mazda MX-5 racing here in the Whelen Mazda MX-5 Cup presented by Michelin. And with 20 minutes to go, it's hard not to get excited about this year, but we've got to just wind ourselves back in, as in some way do the drivers, to save themselves.
It's so hard to try and bottle up your energy and your excitement. And John, you're completely right. This is classic Mazda racing, and it's being led by the classic Mazda dealership represented by Tyler Gonzalez. Teammate Weston Workman hanging on beautifully in that second position. He's got a new sponsor as of CTMP with Little Caesars on the side as well. And I've been told if he possibly finds victory lane, there might be a pizza party later on. So kind of maybe hoping that might be a good dinner option. But Nate Cicero sitting back there in the third position. He knows how to win at VIR. This was the site of his first victory in this championship back in 2023. He went on to come third in the second race. He's got very fond memories of this track as Christian Hodenland has gone for a bit of an off-track excursion. New livery on Christian's car this weekend as well. You might notice as that car has green on it instead of the normal dark gray that we've been so used to seeing. He had a bit of an off at the last round, John. BSI asked him, would you like us to put the same livery back on? He said, nah, let's mix it up. Why not go for a bit of green? And he had a wild ride coming into Oak Tree sideways. I mean, he was pointing the right direction for the apex at turn 13.
Never actually made 11 and 12. He actually took that on the grass. And that was a shortcut, but he didn't actually gain anything at all. He lost quite a lot. In the meanwhile, we have a new leader. Weston Workman will possibly lead across the line, but Nate Cicero's getting some help from Jeremy Fletcher in the blue car. No, it is Weston Workman that leads from Tyler Gonzalez. It's too wide and about 3 or 4 deep as well. We're starting to get the pack beginning to break up. Still 8. That's beginning to fight and not work together. Still 18 minutes to go. Weston Workman with that Little Caesars sponsorship on the side. That's a couple of different pizza companies we've got sponsorship from in the paddock now. And I'm yet to have a speciality pizza. You know, other fast foods are available. Oh, and a little touch there, and that has sent the number 27 of Elio Meza off the track for BSI Racing. He held on to it though and rejoins. He's going to lose a couple of positions from his 8th. Gresham Wagner went through, and I think Ethan Jacobs did as well, possibly Ethan Goulart as well for Sato Motorsport. This is a bit more feisty early on than it tends to be. So let's see, was there a little helping hand there? There was. Side-by-side contact. Rejoins. I think only 2 positions lost perhaps there. Weston Workman under pressure from Nate Cicero. Hand out of the window from Cicero. Was that a thumbs up or something else? Cicero, McCumbee-McAleer Racing with the 2, at least BSI Racing around him. Also in there, Jeremy Fletcher from McCumbee-McAleer Racing. That's a teammate to the man now in the lead. Normally, Shears, as I was sort of alluding to there, with 20 minutes or 16, 17 minutes as it is now to go, we normally see drivers at the front of the field, quick drivers at the front of the field, trying to work together and whittle the pack down. There's a lot more scrapping going on here than I'm used to seeing, and that's keeping this pack together.
It's kind of what we were worried about, John, coming into this race this weekend, and it's why Randy Buck, the race director, was so clear in the expectations from the drivers. All right, we've got 4 races to go until Mazda is handing out a $250,000 check, real cash money in that check, to one of these competitors. And they've decided that needs to be me. So that's why we're seeing this elbows out and the more severe race. But at the autograph session, Aaron Sequel actually went up to the drivers and said, race well, have fun, and remember, you need your car tomorrow morning, and it's not a very long time for your crews to fix it, so please don't hit each other tonight.
Yeah, that is a very good point that you make there. Final race of the day today. We've got the firework display coming up at 8:30 here at VIR, and that's worth staying around for. However, it's 10:35 in the morning for the pre-race, and the green flag is 10:40, and we will have that for you in exactly the same broadcast media that you are watching or listening on now. Same channels. So you're right, Shay, it would be late nights and pizzas for everybody if you were having to fix up a wadded up car. Nate Cicero took the lead, by the way, across the line last time around, so splitting up the laps led again, which is good news for Tyler Gonzalez, who I think still has the most laps led.
Yes. Cicero
in that white car with the blue and red stripes. Classic racing livery, that, isn't it? In behind him now, oh, that would just be Jeremy Fletcher, his teammate, who's just gently in the GFR car moved up into second place in that blue, white and black machine. Now comes side by side, and look at the difference that the draft makes as through comes Tyler Gonzalez in the red and white car. He might lead this by the horseshoe at turn one, and does, and Weston Workman trying to follow him through, and behind Weston is Justin Adeconis. So still, Shea, these, I know Justin is a rookie in amongst some very, very experienced drivers, but they all know how this works, and I'm really, really surprised to see so much side-by-side racing here at the faster parts of the circuit, because we have still got, what, that must be, who's at the back of the line there? Let's see if we can pick them out as they go through. I reckon that's all the way down to Elio Meza in 11th position at the very least. No, there's more than that.
Sally Mott
in there. Yeah, I'd agree. So that's down to what, 17th position, still in this with 13 minutes to go. And we're so used to seeing, 15 become 10, become 8, become 6, become 3. But that's not happening here. This is an unusual Whelen Mazda MX-5 Cup race.
And isn't it spectacular? I would just like to clarify, by the way, before Shea Holbrook comes up to the booth and smacks me over the back of the head, the pizzas for everybody rebuilding their cars, they would only be for the BSI team. She would want her Victory Pizzas and the Lucky Pizzas to stay within her organization. But we would have even more cars involved in this 17-car battle if we had, for example, Celine Royan able to take the start of the race, if Jared Thomas was still running around, Ethan Tyler got a drive-through penalty because of contact with Skylar Cottrell. These are names that we associate with being up towards the top 10, if not well in it. As far as Justin Adeconis being elbows out as a rookie, I'm not surprised. This is a very impressive young man who was invited to the Mazda shootout last year. He was the points champion for Spec MX-5 last year. He was at the shootout the year before. This is his first full season of this level of competition, but he has been racing Mazdas and racing them very, very well for quite a few years now. And guess who his former roommate in college was? That would be the man who is currently sitting P23, I'm going to say, Weston Workman. He's learned from some of the best.
Yeah, 3.5 he was sitting there when you started that sentence, because he was third stroke fourth, Weston Workman. Now, we've just saw there, down the front stretch, the front of the field all in a single file. Now, they spread out a little bit into the horseshoe at turn one, but immediately that put a gap in behind Gresham Wagner. So the first 8 or 9 pulled out. Actually, it was behind Ethan Goulart because Bobby Gossett was a full second away. So immediately that they do work together, that group splits up, and there's the gap back to number 27, Elio Meza, a little bit further back in 12th. So that's what happens when you don't go side by side, or 3 wide, or 4 wide, or 6 wide, as we saw at the beginning. So interestingly, we see almost seeing a race work in reverse here, as the guys at the front have realised that if they keep fighting each other now, they're going to have 17 cars going for the win. And I'm not exaggerating when I say that. You can make up huge amounts of ground here if you get a drafting partner. So now they're starting to work together down the 2 long straights here, the back straight on Madison Avenue. They are working together. And look at the gaps beginning to develop, Shea Adam, between that front group. Second group headed by Elio Meza, that's 12th on back, but that front group is beginning to get away, and the gaps are beginning to develop.
And we had a scary moment there for the head of the field because Farhan Siddiqui was off course at turn 10, but did manage to continue. They do not want a yellow right now, as Jeremy Fletcher desperately wanted a yellow while he was leading, but now he's back to third as Tyler Gonzalez is pushed to the lead once again. We've got just under 10 minutes to go. I'm going to say that Gonzalez gets the 10 bonus points for leading the most laps. 8 laps led for him. Nobody else has time to catch up to that.
I'll buy that for $1. As Gonzalez is back at the front of the field with Western Workman in that distinctive purple and white car. Then it's the number 22 of Jeremy Fletcher. That's the blue metallic car. Then Nate Cicero in what is effectively an all-white car from a distance, but it does have those blue and red racing stripes on. Next up after that is the white and blue car of Justin Adeconis, best of the rookies. And then behind that, another car with a new front bumper. That's Gresham Wagner. In the number 81, Nathan Nicholson, Ethan Jacobs, Ethan Goulard, and Bobby Gossett as they cross the line were your top 10. And they are 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I reckon the top 7 or 8 are still together there. There's just a little bit of a gap beginning to open up. Gresham Wagner still has the fastest lap of the race. Bobby Gossett has just done his fastest lap of the race. We're lapping in around about 2:08, 2:09, depending on where you are. And when does somebody pull the pin? When does it all go bonkers? That's the question for me. Another incident, this time Elio Meza involved in it with the number 81 as well in there. Now, I don't think we saw that for Gresham Wagner. That is going to be looked at after. Oh no, that is under review post-session. Sorry, I see that now, further up the race control channel. I daren't take my eyes off what's going on the track, Shay, to be honest. And look at that, there's another couple of straightaways where people have worked together and the top 4 immediately open up a gap. Now they're across the track. Cicero in 4th. It's Jeremy Fletcher in 3rd, Workman in 2nd, and Tyler Gonzalez leading. But they've pulled out, what's that, 4-5 cars lengths? The guys behind now have to work together. 2 wide behind them is going to hand the podium positions to that 4-car train that's pulling away with 7.5 minutes to go.
The guy who's mesmerizing me right now is Gresham Wagner, moving his way up through the field. He did a beautiful slide job to try and get around Justin Adeconis, but now we've got 2 cars off at turn 4. It's Ethan Jacobs, who was running very well. He was in P8. Who was that with him? It looked like a black car. Might be Bobby Gossett in the number 44. If maybe it was an innocent sort of tap from car to car, but just watching Gresham Wagner and what he's able to do, and yes, it was the 44 Bobby Gossett, just a bit of a nose to tail kind of situation. Gresham has just been moving up through the field. He knows how to bring cars back together and not let a pack get away. He did it at Sebring a few years ago when we thought it was impossible. Gresham Wagner is not out of this for a race win, and if he does manage to get a race win, that would tie him with John Dean, the second for the most race wins in series history.
Wow, really? New fastest lap of the race, Elio Meza, 2:07.866 last time around. Lot of light colours in the midfield as the gaps begin to open up. Grant West put his fastest lap in. Marcello Paniccia. And who else? Scarlett Cottrell, Sally Mott, Alex Bashura, still languishing down in 18th position. Good to see some new names this weekend, Shay. We haven't mentioned that, actually, but quite a few new names in the field this weekend and new colour schemes for us to get used to as they go across the line. That's another lap led for Tyler Gonzalez round the outside for Jeremy Fletcher at turn 1. Western Workman down the inside's got help from Nate Cicero. Might be able to push him into second. No, it's As You Were. Now that's interesting because we have right in there now the number 29 of Ethan Goulart, who's got the tricolore on the hood of his car. As he comes through in the mostly white car. And the 56 in there is Nathan Nicholson, and a problem, sadly, further down the field. And
I was about to say,
very bad luck.
I was about to say, Rocco Pasquarella is doing such a great job on his debut, running well up within the top 10. There was a moment earlier on that was Skylar Cottrell. No, it was Alex, our newbie to the championship this weekend, Alex Gutierrez, running with the AAG group. He didn't actually get much running in practice. He didn't get out in practice 2, went out for qualifying today, but he managed to find the exit of Hogpen and then keep going for a while. But Rocco Pasquarella was doing a very good job. He had tire rub, and he's dropped down quite a bit as well. No, sorry, he's up into 9th, so that wasn't Rocco. Whew, thank goodness. My eyes were seeing things in that one. But yes, several newbies coming in, and it is because it's this time of year, John, where we are allowed to run a maximum of 3 races, 3 race weekends in a season, and still be applicable for that Mazda scholarship if you get invited to come out to the scholarship. We've got a lot of people who are on audition this weekend who will be back at Michelin Raceway Road, Atlanta. They're trying to get some experience in knowing the car, as the full course yellow has now come out with 3 minutes and 46 seconds to go. That will freeze the field, and Jeremy Fletcher is out front.
Coming to the line then, no overtaking here. He will ease back gently, so you don't want somebody running into you. It was Rocco Pasquarella who went off at turn 1. At turn 17, it was Alejandro Gutierrez who went off, and that is the orange, black and stars car that is still in the wall, and that is the car that is in a position of danger. The white flag went out with the double yellows. So Jeremy Fletcher is going to take this victory, Shay, with some battle scars on the right front of the JFR Racing Macumbi Makalia racing car. And we won't get the grandstand finish, but I'm looking down through the field. There's some really good results here. Jeremy Fletcher will win it from Tyler Gonzalez. This is all subject to the penalties, the race control intervention that potentially could come afterwards. They're still looking at some incidents. So Macumbi Makalia Racing from Tyler Gonzalez and Western Workman for BSI. Gresham Wagner will take 4th. Nate Cicero in 5th. Nathan Nicholson in 6th. Elliot Goulart in 7th. What happened to Justin Adeconis? He pitted.
Yeah, he came into the pits with the damage from side-to-side contact. I couldn't see who it was with. But
of course,
the most impressive drive of the race goes to the recipient of the Penske Shocking Performance Award. That would be Gresham Wagner, 31st to 4th. What a performance that was for him. We also have the Takumi Award, which is for the driver of a certain vintage with the best finish. I believe that's going to be Cody Powell in 13th. And the best finishing female is Sally Mott up in 12th. So really good performances from a bunch of diversity in the field.
Yeah. Well done to Skylar Cottrell as well. Rookie. First time out in 9th position for AAG Racing. And, sorry, 2nd for Skylar, thank you. But that is a great result there. Just waiting for the guys to come around, and Shay Adam can give us some very provisional points.
Very, very, very provisional points, because assuming that no penalties are issued for any of the drivers, the biggest change that we have had in the field this weekend is a change in Rookie of the Year standings, with Elio Meza moving ahead of Noah Harmon after Noah had that mechanical issue very early on. Again, I'm not going to read the numbers out because they are so provisional, but for the top 4 in the championship, Nathan Nicholson came in with a 170-point championship lead. He would leave with a 70-point lead after today's race over Jeremy Fletcher, who wins his third consecutive race at Virginia International Raceway, won both of them last year. In third is still Tyler Gonzalez, but the gap from Tyler to Jeremy is now only 40 points, whereas before it was 30 points. So yes, it has grown, but it's even closer to that all-important championship lead. And for Jared Thomas today, a heartbreaker of a day altogether. He would leave today's race 460 points out of the championship lead, still with that fourth position. And I do believe that he has gained enough points that even if he were to not start another race all year, he would still be okay to finish in the top 10.
Cross the line for Jeremy Fletcher behind the Whelen safety car, and he will stand provisionally on the top step of the podium. See, he's not being investigated, so I think he's probably all right. Everything else behind him was what was being looked at by race control. So Macumbi-Macaleer Racing takes race one with Jeremy Fletcher in the number 22. Work his way quietly but resiliently to the front of the field ahead of the two BSI Racing teammates of Tyler Gonzalez and Western Workman, with Gresham Wagner making up the most positions in third position. By the way, that Takumi award that Shay was talking about, Takumi is a very honourable title in Japanese. It means skillful, artisan. And it is only given to those who are masters of their craft. So that is why that award is given, named as Takumi. So Fletcher, Gonzalez, Workman, Gresham Wagner, Cicero, Nicholson, Ethan Goulard are the best of the rookies ahead of Scarlett Cottrell in second. Elo Mesa in second in the rookies points. And Scarlett Cottrell in third, Grant West for the top 10. Sally Mott, the best of the female drivers, in 12th position, and she'll take the check for that one as well. And as we look down, Ashton Speed, who was off earlier on, recovered to 20th position. Charlotte Trainer in 21st, and everyone after that had had some kind of problems. And look at the names at the bottom of the results. Parker DeLong, Christian Hodenland, and Jared Thomas in amongst them there, with Celine Roland not even starting the race. So 32 cars started, and we got about 30 of them to the end of the race. We'll do it again tomorrow. Shay Adam will be back in the IMSA Global Broadcast Centre to join me, John Heintorf. Let's hope that we get some of those cars repaired and back out again. For now, Jeremy Fletcher for Macumbi-Macaleer Racing will take the top step of the podium. By the way, the 10 bonus points for fastest lap did go to Elio Meza for BSI, who finishes 8th and second best of the rookies. Congratulations to Macumbi-Macaleer Racing and BSI, who are on the podium. Thanks to all of our crew. We'll see you tomorrow. From VIR, bye-bye for now.